Welcome to Only Murders in the Building, a true crime podcast.
Katie, that's not the name of our podcast, is it?
You're right, Tony. I'm sorry. I've been binge watching this show on Hulu called Only Murders in the Building, and it's stuck in my brain.
Well, our podcast is going to be called Revealed.
Tony, can you explain to everybody why we're calling it Revealed?
Well, Revealed, our lives are full of ordinary experiences, but within those experiences is a sacred, is a spiritual. And so this podcast is going to be about how do we find the sacred in the ordinary? How is that revealed to us?
Okay, so it's not about only murders in the building.
No, it's about things like, I bet you're like everybody else, right? You have to do laundry. Mm-hmm. You have to go to the grocery store and buy some food. You have to go to work. Some people go to school. Soon, we're going to be raking up those leaves that are going to fall into our yards. Very ordinary activities. But within all of those things, all those activities, can be found the spiritual, the sacred. That's what Revealed is going to be all about.
And you know what? Your hosts for this are just ordinary people. My name is Katie.
My name is Tony.
And we're here to host Revealed. So a little bit about myself. My name is Katie McAllister, and I'm just an ordinary girl from Howard, Wisconsin. I grew up out in the boondocks. I went to Bayport High School. Go Pirates. Yeah, and so I just lived an ordinary, typical child of the 90s, right? Went to St. Norbert College, and after college, I started working at Resurrection Parish as a teacher. And through my course of teaching and now working for the parish, I've really embraced the whole idea of finding God in those ordinary moments. And now I'm so excited to be putting this podcast together with Tony. It makes sense because I am the communications and technology coordinator here at Resurrection. And I just think this is a great opportunity for us to kind of explore our faith together. Outside of this, I love spending time with my family. I am the youngest of four. I have four amazing nieces and nephews who I just adore. And I love playing golf. I love skiing. I love being outside.
My name's Tony Pickler, and if you're a child of the 90s, I'm a child of the 70s, which means this is a pretty intergenerational podcast, I think. Grew up in Eau Claire and then in Marshfield, and went to St. John's University over in Collegeville, Minnesota for my undergraduate degree, St. Norbert College for a graduate degree, and I've worked in church ministry my entire career, from parish work and parish ministry to working at the diocese for a couple of decades, then St. Norbert Abbey and directing the spirituality center there, and now at Resurrection Parish as the mission outreach director, which means trying to connect the parish to the wider community. Outside of church, I have a life too, but some of that life includes doing volunteer work in our community. Helped to found a nonprofit organization called Whatsoever You Do Incorporated a few years ago. We've been active since the early 2000s with outreach programs to those on the margins, including Streetlights Outreach and Amani Outreach and our Spokes of Hope program, and et cetera. So I've been very involved with that as well as our House of Hospitality over on Velb Avenue. So beyond all of that, my work here at Resurrection, my volunteer work with Whatsoever You Do, I too like to golf. I love to walk, love to read, just like to be active in any way that I can. So I'm married to my wife Janine, and we have two adult children, Andy and Megan, and we have one adorable grandchild, Jack. So it's a little bit about me.
So Tony, you sound extremely busy.
Yes, I seem to be.
Yes, and I'm crazy busy. So we're probably not thinking about doing this podcast daily, are we?
I hope not. I don't think that's going to work into this guy's schedule.
No, nor do you think weekly would work?
I don't think so, and I'm thinking about the people who listen. It probably won't work for them either.
Yeah, so how about we do it every other week? What do you think about that?
I think that sounds like a great plan.
All right, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it every other week, And the first week, what we're going to do is we're going to interview an inspiring person in our community. One of our neighbors that is living their faith, that is finding that sacredness in the ordinary. And we're hoping that it's going to inspire all of our listeners to go out and to kind of live that example, find those moments where they can really embrace God. And what about the other weeks?
So the alternate programs are going to feature resources and organizations that will help people to experience the sacredness in the ordinary. So we're hoping to introduce organizations where people might be intrigued by getting involved with them and perhaps experiencing a different type of spirituality in that way. But we also want to introduce people to resources that will help them to delve into their own spirituality, the sacredness that's within them, and the sacredness that's within their very ordinary lives.
So what? Do we have anything on the docket, or are we just flying blind? What do we got coming up, Tony?
As much as you and I probably go by the seat of our pants sometimes, we actually have a game plan here for the next couple programs. The first program out of the gate is going to be with Steve Meyer. Steve is a marketing expert working for the Karma Group. He's also a deacon in his church. He's co-founder of Whatsoever You Do Incorporated, that organization that works with people on the margins. He's an author of several books, but he's not going to talk about any of that.
He's not? What's he going to talk about?
He's going to talk about hiking and backpacking. He loves to hike. He loves to backpack. And in fact, he's just coming off a trip to New Mexico where he was doing some hiking and backpacking in the mountains. So he's going to talk about how do we find the sacredness in the ordinary activity of hiking and backpacking, which we feel will be really important and timely as we move into the fall season with the beautiful leaves and the creation that God has given us.
So is he going to kind of help us understand that God doesn't just reveal himself in church?
Right, like going out, spending time in nature, in the woods, in the mountains, next to a lake or a stream or a river. That's where God can be encountered as well. And that's where the sacred is revealed to us.
And on the other week, what we're going to do is we're going to talk to Mackenzie Cherney, who is involved in an organization called Sleep and Heavenly Peace. And we're going to kind of hear from her about what this organization does that maybe you could get involved in. And the cool thing about Mackenzie is she's one of the youth of our community. She is not being limited by her age. She's getting involved, and she is an inspiring young lady who will talk to you about an amazing organization.
Though we know that you love to talk, Katie, these are going to be quick-hitting podcasts that don't last forever. Worth envisioning 15 to 20 minutes in length so that people can build these podcasts into their ordinary activities where they can take them on the road and listen to them whenever it's convenient.
So if I have time to watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, do you think I have time to tune into this podcast?
The who?
The Kardashians, Kim, Khloe, like...
Oh, yeah, sure.
Those sure, you don't know who they are.
Rich people on TV?
Yeah.
Yeah, never watched an episode.
You know what? No, I haven't either. But yeah, so if you have time to watch a TV show, you have time to plug in to this podcast. Well, we thank you for listening. We hope this is the beginning of an amazing journey of finding the sacred in the ordinary in which God reveals himself.
This has been Revealed, a production of Resurrection Parish in Green Bay, Wisconsin.